Okay.
Okay. We're back in general session, or whatever you call it, 11:32. Okay, after our discussion in the executive session, I think, just to say a few things, I think we're definitely appreciative of what Amanda and Jill do, and John, correct me if I'm wrong, I think our discussion was more about what's the long-term intent of these positions. I guess we probably focused more on Jill's than, in that discussion and that, with that regard. I said, and I think John and the others were in agree, that I think it is a department head position, that is indeed what it is, and we need to, it should be compensated in accordance, I guess, and that's when Anita was here and she had more experience in different things and brought things to the table, we were paying her I look back, $72,000, and we have other department heads in the building that are non-elected department heads that are making more than what she had requested, but obviously they have experience and have been here longer and those kind of things as well, and that needs to be taken into consideration and not to take away from them either. So I guess what we came up with was we were gonna do on Jill 3/4 of what she had requested, which we were gonna round to 59,000. And the same with Amanda, not to cut out nice comments for her, but like 42,000 for Amanda and 59,000 for Jill. And I guess I'll make a motion to put that in the budget if I need to do that. And so I move that we do 59,000 for Jill Johnson, 42,000 for Amanda Longfellow. Charlie seconds it. Is there any other discussion?
Getting back to John's comment earlier about a schedule.
Yeah, I mean, that was what we spoke about as well, was we need to have, and I think probably either this committee, the policy committee, somebody needs to have we need to have a timeline of what those positions, I guess we talked about this, that what is the future? Where does that position, in particular with finance director, but also the administrators, the county assistant, that what is the long-term plan, both from a salary perspective and workload or capability expectations, and how do we, where's the longer-term plan of where salaries are? Is my kind of more gradual or more simplified thing is, my feeling is that, okay, it's a department head and it should be in line with department head type things, or salaries and expectations, but.
I think that's the hardest thing in the world to do right now,
It is.
with the ups and downs of the world. But it's the thing we have to do in order to continue on a progressive track of running a better organization.
It's also something that can be adjusted as circumstances dictate all the time.
Okay. I guess call the roll.
The talking point from world.
Call me too now, if Paul was.
Alt,
Yes,
Bowers, Sure,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
McTaggart,
Yes.
I would just like to say thank you for considering our offers, and we're much appreciative of, well, I'll speak on your behalf, I'm sorry. Much appreciative of your vote of confidence and the increase that you awarded us.
Thank you, guys. Okay, back to the budget stuff. So
that puts us at, adjusting those numbers, that puts us at a positive of $12,128.
is there any other of the items that we talked about on my board of fund that,
Well, I tried to lay those out for you, so Keeping, again, the ASME contracts at 5.5, chief deputies, administrative assistants at 6. The list of cut sheets you have. The, IDA request, I spoke with Angel yesterday, she still has not requested anything, so I kept that in at 17.5. The transfer week, I can mark off the transfer to joint dispatch, I did attend that meeting last night and pretty much said we were willing to stay at exactly what we were at, which is the 120 from the general and 150 from public safety, and that's what they voted on and approved. So I can take that off the list. I also can take off the list number 4, and going to number 5, contracted salaries. So we did have our first negotiations meeting with FOP, deputy sergeants, lieutenants, and corrections. What they are requesting is what I inputted just to, I know it's gonna be the high end of what they're asking, so we haven't come back with a counter offer yet. But just to make sure that our budget is in line and looking well, I went ahead and put in their request, and we're still at the positive 12,128.
To that end, one of the proposals that we're considering was giving them the larger increase this year and then trying to arrange something where we would be, for the second and third years, tying the increase into the inflation. And finding one of the inflation indexes that we all could agree on and tying it into that. In view of the fact that our county revenues are also gonna be dependent on that.
Sure.
And there are situations that could arise where if we had a across the board percentage, could hurt either party
For sure.
and not necessarily benefit the other one.
So you still have what we,
But I don't know that we're gonna get that in place. That's something that's never been done before, according to what the lawyers told us, so.
say that again one more time though, Jill,
I'm sorry,
what number do you have in there now and how far exposed are we?
for the FOP,
Yes,
I have their request in,
that's in there.
right, it is in there.
It's 4.5.
Right.
Plus
So-
$1.50 initially per hour increase and then 4.5 each year. So I do have,
So hopefully that's a worst case scenario.
that's a worst case scenario, the worst case scenario is inputted and that still puts us in the positive of 12,128.
Okay. 20,158.
12,128. Yeah. So that last line there on your
Takes into
paper,
account you guys' salary differences and
the insurance.
the insurance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then I guess what else do we have to decide on? I know we gotta talk about public safety, because I want to talk about that, but
Really, that's, like I said, I had those items on my list to discuss. You did mention something about possibly charging administrative fees to the health department and 911, as they have their own board. But I don't think
I
we
think
ever,
if we're gonna do
for
something like
now,
that, we agreed it'd have to be for next year.
right, it'll have to be a discussion for a different time, but no, everything else. The other thing is Frank's request from today. We currently have $81,030 in that line item. He requested 94,962, which is a big difference. Prior years, I went back a little bit and the county has went as high as 80,000 as a transfer. So I have 8130 in there right now. That'll be up to the committee to decide to approve his request or meet him in the middle or keep it at 8130.
What happens if we tell them how
The
much?
one question that we,
Nothing.
the one question that you asked them if Kankakee County was in agreement with that, their part of it. We didn't ask him, well, what if we don't give him everything that he's asking us to do?
Right.
Where does that leave him?
We did discuss it though when he sat down with us the other day and he said they would still provide services and the county would still have services. However, he's looking to do additional services.
I think you and I talked that maybe 85 was the most we wanted to go at this time, so.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the guy that was up here at Regional Office of Education. He came over on Tuesday and met with Jill and I for a while, just to go over his stuff.
I think he gave you a sheet, Charlie, and it's all the way at the
Yeah,
bottom.
he's
It's
got
kind of
it
hard
there.
to read. But yeah, so then the committee just needs to decide, do you wanna leave that at $81,030? Do you wanna say 85 even? Do you want to, Brandon is 94,000 and some change request? That's up to the committee.
He told me they're asking for.
Alright, give them 85 and I say.
85?
This is what we gave them last year, the 75.
Okay, so adjusting that puts us at,
So, my suggestion was 85.
I say we change it to 85 unless somebody disagrees. Put it at 85. That
Okay.
should move us down to, what, $88,000 surplus or something?
yeah, I'm doing it right now. My computer froze, sorry. And I'm trying. Okay. Yep, that puts us at $8,158.
So what was the date to post the budget?
Okay, and that's the other thing is the budget needs to be posted for public viewing by October 19th. So I can get it together for the county board meeting if we're okay with the changes that are in here as of now,
I
but
think
that,
that's fine for the general fund. The only other things we had on my little board was general liability, but we have that in the worst case scenario. so
I do
hopefully
have
that-
it as a worst case scenario.
That'll hopefully get better. We have some kind of an exposure for joint dispatch. Oh, if the FOP's higher there, we might,
Right,
we might have to chip in one.
right, and they currently, let me review that real quick before I tell you, I don't wanna tell you wrong. Let me see what I got them in it.
I would think that on the joint dispatch contract that they're either gonna ask the same as what FOP is asking or would settle for the same as what FOP settles for. I would hope that wouldn't be any worse than that.
Yeah, but his number doesn't have anything in it. That's why on my board last month there was an exposure that it would cost the general fund extra $5,000 if we had to cover that.
Yeah, and cause
Cause it's gonna be
currently,
like an extra 15 grand over what he had or something, and we
Yeah,
were saying
'cause-
if we split it 3 ways with Watsika and,
In fact, I mentioned at the meeting last night, the 699 number that he showed, I wouldn't be surprised if it went up to 725 when we got that contract put together.
so we might have exposure there, but you didn't mess with the revenue numbers at all, or?
I did not,
Okay, so
I
we
did
still
not.
got like 200 grand there that we can always adjust to for summer.
yeah, cause it was discussed, I think Kurt had mentioned last meeting that we could increase that,
Up to 200.
1.9 to 200, or to 2, or something to that effect, I don't recall.
I think that was being conservative still, it said 1 to 300 is what I wrote
Yeah.
on the board. And I think right now we're on track to be way more than that, so whatever, I think we're okay. So I'd say in the general fund, I don't know, if we gotta make a motion to, what do we gotta do? That, we just are gonna present that to the board, for full board approval, or with those changes, or?
Yeah, I mean, you could make a motion to approve it as it is now,
One thing, I guess we-
tentatively for public viewing.
Yeah, well, we need to talk about public safety, so maybe we should just do this all at once.
Sure. So public safety, sorry,
What I had on my board last month was we had $500,000 coming in, we had $252,000 for 4 cars. Doing dispatch, $150,000, which it sounds like that was agreed upon. And then the one thing that I don't think we had in there was this deputy for $49,000 the sheriff was requesting.
yeah, and I added in the 49,000, cause it was in, and then I was told to take it out, and then I went ahead and put it back in.
Put it back.
So the revenue side is showing 500,000, or the expenditures for the sheriff is at 301,000. And the transfer for joint dispatch is 150,000, which leaves,
49,000 or so.
right, approximately 50,000.
We would be adding, so I was gonna say, maybe I'm getting soft in my old age, but I was gonna say, put the money in for the sheriff's deputy. Maybe just all this craziness that happened in the last month made me change my mind.
Well, and I think-
I was the one that said take it out, but,
The thing is though, that isn't gonna stop it.
no, I understand.
You can have 200 deputies.
I understand, but I do think the
Well,
club
and-
is,
So that would put him at having 1 sergeant, 2 lieutenants, 14 deputies, and 10 correctional officers. And I think that would be, I mean, I wouldn't approve anything going forward for the next couple of years until he can, work out any more contract deals. So essentially 2 of those 14 deputies were hired because we have policing contracts with
Right.
communities that would allow for those to be paid for, so.
I don't know how it's gonna affect the budget either, but I think one thing that we need to push hard for this year when we do negotiate with the telecommunicators is getting some part-time people.
yes. And I would leave that as you had it presented. Under that circumstance, we're still socking away at least 50,000, probably more than that, maybe almost 100,000 every year. Building the public safety fund is what I mean. And we already have, we should by year end, if these cars for this year's budget get bought, we would have a ending balance of $700,000 roughly. At the end of this year, we would be adding somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 for next year. Because I think we got 500,000 in the budget, but as the revenue, but it's actually closer to 550, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So we are socking money away to keep those that feel like we need to have a rainy day fund in there. There is money we're building a balance in there and still hopefully making Iroquois County a safer place, or whatever the intention of this is. But, okay, then I would say, I don't think there were any other funds or anything we need to look at, right?
Not on my list, no.
And what do I need to do? Make a motion to send what?
I don't know what's been done prior, but in the
We have to
motion
make a motion?
to send it to
I'm
the
normally
county
commenting right
board.
now, I don't know, I never get to this point.
A motion needs to be made to send it to the county board for approval and posting.
For public viewing, yeah.
Then I will make a motion to send the revised budget to the county board the full county board for approval for public posting.
All
We have a second? Charlie looked like he was gonna second it?
One question I have,
Yes.
what we did with the director of 911 salary, is that already accepted? Don't need a,
That's your budget.
Yeah, that doesn't have anything
I
to
know
do
it
with
is, but I want to know what it is for your consideration.
Did,
I didn't say so.
yes,
I want to know what it's gonna be. That's all.
I guess I didn't even look at
Well, you
that.
were there last night, Charlie.
We don't
We voted on it last night, yeah,
we don't have any say so.
okay.
That's your
How
responsibility.
big
Charlie,
of
if you look at the sheet that he handed out today, revision B, he has his salary at $64,203.30.
That's okay. I'm all right then.
If you don't do your job right, the county.
It's a 5% increase. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions or comments before we vote on sending the budget to the board? We should have, what did we say, $8,000-ish surplus in there right now.
Yep.
I think it's probably a little bit better than that.
Yeah, because we didn't adjust any revenue numbers.
We didn't adjust, there's
So that'll give us a
quite a
little
bit
room
upside
too
on
if
the
they come
revenue side,
back.
I think, and this insurance stuff that we need to get straightened out on the general liability insurance, there's, I imagine, some positive there.
I guess one question I have about all this, and that is, obviously, we can handle it for this year.
the long
Next
term.
year, we're, you know, we can't take back some of what we're doing this year.
Right.
Are we gonna be able to meet all those things? For example, health insurance is gonna be 1% increase next year. We'd like to be back at 20%.
I share the same concern. I guess I don't necessarily have a crystal ball either, but my only thing would be, unless we go into deflationary times, which I think the entire country's in really deep crap, way more than Iroquois County. And I'm not saying that wouldn't happen, because
Right.
that we probably have, my guess is, at static levels with no increase, no, let's say there's zero inflation. We have at least, I would guess, closer to $300,000 worth of sales tax income that we don't have in there. It would be a positive. We probably have 15 grand worth of insurance upside there. Hopefully you do a nice job negotiating and we got some little bit of upside there. Point is, I bet you there's somewhere in the.
Well, and it helped too.
We're somewhere in the $350,000
Right.
surplus
I'll
of.
never put that on negotiation.
Well, and it helped too, because as Bob had said in tax, you know, he followed up with some of the assessment that needed followed up, and he found, I believe it was $9 million that needs to be on the tax roll that haven't been on the
I
tax roll.
guess unless we get into severe deflationary times, I think we do have some. The way things sit right now and things we kind of know about, there's some room for some cost growth, which obviously we have lots of cost growth every year. How we project all that out, I think we need to get figured out. Yeah, that would be best to
Bill
know.
just said there was a real eye opener
Yeah,
Tuesday.
I
It
know.
makes you wonder
How much else?
if that little parts of the county that they looked at produce that kind of results, what would happen if you went countywide?
Right.
Fair enough. So, do I know? No, but I think your point's valid. If there was a way that we could ever get to the point, if we're gonna talk about things that would be nice to be able to be done, we've kind of
And that's-
half-assed got to the
Right.
point where we know kind of what our capital future looks like and these big outlays that we have, and kind of have a
Well, I think,
quasi plan of what those are. How do we do that on everything else? I mean,
right,
a lot of it, our biggest cost is labor, and we can
Yeah.
probably project those out pretty well, but what kind of, how do we project those things out to say, okay, here's where we are gonna be in 5 years, and are we gonna have enough revenue? I think that would be something that would, I think, be beneficial to everybody if we could get to the point of doing some of those kind of projections, which I know are time consuming, but at a high level, basically taking your budget sheets and instead of, okay, assume we do X% every year on salaries,
Right.
where are we at and what does that look like? I don't.
right. And that's always gonna be a fluctuating number, because you have, you know, these people that have been here forever that are leaving, that make $22 an hour, you bring in somebody in that makes 13, and, you know, conservatively with our general fund, like you had said, other than salaries, there's really not a lot other that we could
We do have
cut.
this 40,000 that the recorder's gonna have extra every year,
Yeah, and, you know, she does have 2 automation accounts for that too.
but that means that it'll come out of, she won't be giving it to us, which means that
Right.
you're gonna lose money there, but
Yeah, you lose the 20 grand a year that we approximately get from her. Sure.
okay, wait, we gotta vote. Okay, call the roll.
Paul,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Hughes, McTaggart.
Yes. Okay. Then claims. Do we have a motion to approve the claims? Is there anything we need to specifically look at?
No, the one thing I would like to note, just in, you know, open meeting here, is you'll notice on your claims listing, we have the sheriff, we have probation, we have EMA, we have maintenance, we have, you know, other departments that are included on finance, so that's because they're getting their claims in late. And, I am going to send out a reminder to all departments that we do have a claims deadline. And there's a claims deadline there for a reason. And these, you know, going forward, we're not, you know, may not be as able to put them on for this month. They might have to wait till next month because department heads are not getting them in on time. The other thing that I do wanna note too, I will be sending out another reminder. Amanda's having a difficult time getting employee verification sheets from the department heads. Found out yesterday we have 3 people that are listed as employees that are dead. So, and have been for 2-3 years now. So they need to get better. I don't think they're on the vote, they're not on the voting registry, but we need to take them off our employment list.
We're asking them to complete sexual harassment training and they're.
On people who have been deceased for 2-3 years, you know,
I saw that.
if you're talking about department heads that not getting their stuff done, come on, it's a piece of paper, send us an email, let us know. So that's the only thing.
I assume-
Full-time department.
I assume they get emails telling them when the deadlines are and all that kind of stuff as far as.
Every year, we hand out a sheet, a claims deadline sheet for the
I know,
year.
but are you sending them
But
out
they
a
also
reminder
get
every
a,
month?
but they also get a monthly, I think the clerk's office sends out a monthly meetings list that does show the claims deadline on it as well.
Yeah, so
All
they're
I'm saying
getting
is
2
maybe
reminders.
You should send out an email like, hey, next Friday is the day or
Sorry.
whatever.
I'm not
Maybe you could-
babysitting them.
Alright.
Their department head's making more money than me. They get it annually, they get it monthly.
Alright,
Get them in. I just wanted that said during
put
the,
that in the meeting minutes. so somebody
right,
has
during
to
the
read.
minutes that, you know, they get it annually, they get it monthly, let's get our stuff in.
Okay, seconded by me, and any more discussion on claims? No?
No.
Okay,
Alt,
Yes.
Sure,
Yeah.
Hughes,
Yes.
McTaggart.
yes. Okay, old business, I don't think this is for us, but we got a letter directed to the finance committee, it should go to the ARPA committee, but it says, thank you very much. Thank you so much for donating the freezers, very grateful. Sonia Bradley, the Bread Basket Food Pantry. We probably need to give that to ARPA, but that was very nice. Okay, any other old?
In lieu of ARPA, maybe it's something we can read it at the
Oh,
board
yeah.
meeting.
Yeah, that would be fine. So, any other old or new business?
I will return.
Okay. Second, Hughes, all in favor of adjourning? Aye.